Hello, glad you could join me today. Today's class will be centered around balance, and I wanted to share a little quote with you about balance and symmetry that I read from a teacher of mine that I follow. I receive ever so often emails from this teacher, Leslie Kaminoff, who is focused on anatomy, yoga anatomy. And I was really moved by this quote that he included in the email. He says, symmetry and balance are very different. Symmetry is man made, balance is all that we find in nature, but it's not symmetrical. We'll be exploring this concept a little bit in today's class. For class, you'll want to have a block, preferably a foam block, or some kind of object that it would be okay if it fell on the floor. We'll be doing a little bit of balance with an object on the top of our head, whether it's a block or something else like a little book, a light book, or another object that you wouldn't mind having it fall off, just in case. Let's hop in. So, as usual, I'll be sitting in a chair, practicing from the chair, which you're welcome to do, or a lot of these yoga shapes that we make are able to be done seated on the floor, lying down, or standing up. So please note that there are options. But let's begin with just sitting up tall. So whether you're seated on the ground or in a chair, starting to lengthen your back. Let your shoulders gently soften down away from the ears. Let the sides of your neck lengthen. Feel free to close your eyes here. Notice your soles of the feet grounding. Maybe spread your toes wide. Maybe even just kind of step your feet out a little bit, putting more weight into one foot and then the other if your feet are planted. Eventually bringing even weight into both feet and even weight into both sitting bones. So we can think about this kind of like balance, doesn't have to be symmetrical, but balancing weight between both sides of the body. And finding an upright shape to feel a little alertness in the mind and body. And then see if you can soften without losing any of that alert feeling. Balance between effort and ease. I'll invite you now to move into a breathing practice. And this breathing practice is called vritti breath. And it's in balanced breathing. It actually means even or balanced fluctuations, vritti. And we'll breathe in for 4 counts. We'll hold the breath at the top of the inhale for 4 counts. We'll exhale for 4 counts and then hold the breath at the bottom of the exhale for 4 counts. So let's begin. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding the breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath for 3, 2, 1. Again. 4, 3, 2, 1. At the top of your inhale, hold. 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Continuing on your own, find a rhythm here. Please know that if 4 counts is too much, you can always shorten that number. Or if you'd like to extend the breath even longer, feel free to do so. 5 counts in. Just experiencing the breath really expanding. Experiencing letting all the breath go as you exhale. And the holding gives you an opportunity to kind of hover in that space, in that breath, in that moment, meeting the moment. And even with this kind of holding, you can imagine kind of like a gentle holding of the breath. It's not a clasping, it's not a grasping, but there's some kind of attention there, some kind of effort. So we balance that holding on and letting go of the breath. Gently holding the breath at the top of the inhale. Gently holding the breath at the bottom of the exhale. Let's do another round of that. Just letting your breath return to a more natural state. Just noticing how your breath is moving through your body. Let your eyes soften. Let the jaw unhinge. And then gently drop your chin down towards your chest. So you can open your eyes here, or the eyes closed might feel nice for you. Either is fine. Just bring your right hand across your chest, resting on your left shoulder. So we're just kind of giving that shoulder, that side of the body, permission to soften a little more. And then maybe drop your ear over to the right. Just dropping your head over to the right shoulder, feeling a length through that side of the neck. Maybe a little bit of rocking of your head, yes or no. Letting your breath move through any places of tension. Let's gently bring the head back up through the center. Release your hand back down and move your left hand across the chest to the right shoulder. Let it be heavy. The weight of the arm, the weight of the hand is just resting. Giving yourself permission to soften. A little bit of extra weight there can be helpful. Letting your left ear drop towards the left shoulder. Hold here for a couple breaths. Feel free to move. A little bit of rocking. Turning the head down or up, side to side. You might notice some kind of even or balanced quality in your natural breath pattern. Just observing, noticing. Let's gently bring the head back through the center. Let your left hand come back down onto the lap and just breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Let's bring the right arm up and alongside the ear. So just a big stretch here, reaching, lengthening. You can bring your left hand to your side or to the chair. And then lean over. any amount, just leaning, lengthening through the side body. The hips stay grounded in the chair as you lift your chest up. On your next inhale, come up through the center and switch sides. Bring that hand down, stretch your other arm up, and lean. Find space here like you're lifting up through the armpit away from your hip. You might even sense the front ribs kind of rolling in towards one another as you lift your chest up. Gently coming back up through the center, inhale, and exhale, lower your hand down. Let's bring the hands to the tops of the legs. Let your chin drop down towards your chest and let that ripple all the way into the spine as you round your back, imagining the belly button pulling back towards your chair, the back of the chair, or the back of your space behind you. Opposite action of the spine. Let's lift the chest, lift the head, look up, and arch the back. Let the shoulder blades gently squeeze together. And again, rounding your back, imagining that beach ball coming in towards the belly, rounding over it. And inhale, we look up, arch the back. Just keep on moving in this way. Your hands on your legs can act as a little bit of an anchor, like a grounding force as you move your spine. You might add a little bit of organic movement, like shifting the rib cage side to side, maybe rolling out a little bit, leaning forward, rolling back. Just know that all of this kind of free-flowing movement is always welcome. So if there's something that feels interesting to you or something that your body wants to do, please know that that's always okay. Just coming back through the center. Let's sit up tall. Notice the sitting bones on your seat. Lengthen up in the spine. Balanced effort and ease. Softening where you can, stabilizing where you can, and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Right arm reaches up again. This time, let's bring the hand to the shoulder. So just dropping your hand down onto your shoulder. Lengthen through your elbow towards the side wall. And then start to trace a big arc like a rainbow up and over your body. Let your upper body twist with you and point your elbow to the opposite wall. Tracing that same path, come around, big circle up. And the elbow comes back to its starting point, pointing towards the side wall. Let's do that a couple more times. So just tracing this big rainbow arch up and overhead. You're going to let your upper body kind of follow along. Just let it move and explore sensation, maybe even leaning down a little bit. Just notice that felt really nice. So lifting up, lengthening through your elbow, pointing it in the other direction. Let's do that 2 more times. Slow motion, no rush. Elbow up. And pointing it in the other direction. Tracing that same path back. The feet stay planted, the hips are planted. The upper body is getting a little bit of freedom here. Waking up the shoulder. Just gently come back through the center. Release your arm, release your hand. Just pause. You might notice some sensation moving through that arm. Maybe not, just whatever it is, notice. Let's stretch the left arm up. When you're ready, inhale here. And exhale, bring the hand to your shoulder. Slowly tracing that path up and over. Like a big rainbow over your head, pointing elbow in the other direction. Tracing that same path to come back. And you might choose to match your breath with this, like a big breath in to lift the elbow up. Exhale as you settle to one side. And inhale brings the elbow back up. And exhale, settling back to your starting point. 3 more rounds here. So just moving maybe with the breath if it feels right for you. I really like moving with the breath. I find it to be a nice way to connect with my mind and body, create a connection. If it's hard for you or challenging for you, that's totally fine. It's just breathing is what matters, noticing your breath. All right, last round, lifting elbow up and over. And gently coming back through the center, pointing elbow to the side, and releasing arm and hand down. Noticing sensation, if any, breathing in, breathing out. All right, let's stretch the hands out so the palms are facing forward. Your elbows can be to your sides, elbows bent. You could have your arms out to your sides, adding a little bit of a strengthening component to your shoulders and arms. You can bring your hands out in front of you. So really, whatever you prefer is your call. We're going to move the fingers some. So starting with your pointer fingers, we're going to just circle out your pointer fingers. And it might feel kind of funny at first, but just kind of seeing how you can draw these little circles with your fingers. Moving your finger and move it in the other direction. A few circles here. Just waking up the hands. Move your circles to your middle finger. Circling in one direction. Continue to breathe here. Breath is key. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing your breath. Circle in the other direction. And then the ring finger circling out. Another direction. Please know it's totally fine if you're doing one hand or one hand at a time. That's completely fine. Let's do the little finger circling out. A little bit challenging for me. Circle in the other direction. Oof, my hands are getting tired. Just keep on breathing. If you need to pause, that's fine. All right, let's circle the thumbs. Circling out another direction. All right, so from here, palms out. Again, elbows can be at your sides, arms out or in front of you. Either is fine. Let's fan the hands down. So just like one finger at a time, trying to do that as best as you can. The hands close down. And then one finger at a time, the hands slowly fan open. Let's just do that again. Curling the fingers in and then curling the fingers out. Nice, one more time. Curling them down and in. And then slowly opening. Nice, stretch the hands out. Good. Curl the fingers in and press your fists down. Circle out the wrists. Slowly moving the wrists in one direction. And then the other. Breathing. Just checking in with how your hands and wrists feel. Let's just shake the hands out a little bit. I like to think about kind of flicking water off the tips of my fingers, like I'm letting go of something, flicking it off my fingertips. Big breath in here. Full breath out. Sit up tall. Notice your feet on the ground. Lengthen your back. Let's bring one knee in towards the chest. So just hugging the knee in. You can hold on to the front or back of your leg. And let's circle out the ankle, moving the ankle joint. And circling in the other direction. From here, I like to bring one hand onto like the front of my knee. You could also swing your arm around and kind of hook your leg in your arm. Or a strap would work here as well, a strap or a belt if you have one of those handy, wrapping it and holding it. So just know there's options here. We're gonna sit up tall again, keep the leg in, and then just start to open the hip out and then close it. So just moving the knee out to the side and then back in towards the center. And just finding a little bit of a rhythm here for you. My inhale, open, exhale, together. Just a little bit of a challenge here. You might even add some movement with your head as you open the knee out, turn your head to the opposite side and back through the center. And then over to the same side and back to the center. Just one more time on each side if you're moving your head. Waking up the hip joint. Good. Let's cross that ankle over the thigh. There's absolutely no rush. So if you want to keep on exploring that for a little while and meet us when you're ready, that's fine too. Crossing the ankle, figure four, my favorite shape, one of my favorite poses. Feeling into this for a moment. If you are on the ground at this point, I'd suggest lying down and finding the shape in the legs. I like moving a little bit side to side, maybe even letting your legs shift side to side a little, freeing up the hips. And eventually, you just come back through the center. And option here to fold over the legs, adding in a little forward fold, dropping in and breathing. Hips are heavy, breath is steady. And the next couple of breaths, slowly starting to lift up if you were folded and unravel your legs. Okay, from here, we'll do that same little sequence on the other side. So whenever you're ready to, you can pick up your other leg, holding onto the front or back, and just hug the knee in. Hugging the knee in, circle the ankle for starters. Just take a couple breaths. And then taking your hand and holding onto the knee. So you're holding with one hand or scooping your leg up with your arm, your call. It's moving your knee from side to side, out and then back to the center. Check in with your back here. Are you rounding forward? If so, see if you can stabilize your core a little bit, sit up tall and breathe. You might start to add your head movements, looking over in the opposite direction as you pull your knee out, back through the center as you draw the knee in. Same side, turning head towards the knee, and then back to the center. One more time on each side. Breathing. Gently meeting back in the center. Let's come into our figure four. Ankle over thigh. Grounding here. A little movement is fine. A little shifting side to side or rocking legs side to side. Gently coming back through the middle when you're ready, and you can stay where you are upright, letting your spine lengthen, your hips get heavy, or fold forward. Couple slow breaths here. Breathing in, breathing out. Gently lift your chest, come up and out of the shape. Unravel your leg. Bring the sole of the foot back down. Full breath in here. And breathing out. Okay, so moving into tree pose, tree pose. We're gonna balance a little bit, and this is where you're gonna want your props. So I've got this foam block. If you have something like a small book, a little object that you have in the room nearby you, something that's okay with you putting it on your head. All right, so we're gonna do a little balancing, just for fun. So nothing too serious here. We're just gonna set up for tree, and I like to do that by scooching forward a little bit in my chair and planting my grounded foot on the earth. And then my other knee draws out. So just like we were doing, we were opening the hip out and then planting my heel on the leg of my chair. So that's just a nice little stable, sturdy place for me to place my foot. You can practice this lying down as well. If you're lying down, I would suggest extending your extended leg and then bringing your other foot just to the inside of that leg. So you're lying there in that same kind of position. All right, so seated, pressing your grounded foot into the earth, pressing your heel onto the leg of your chair. We sit up tall. Find that length and space through the sides of the body. And this is where we can balance. You might take your object and place it on your head. This is totally optional too. We'll sometimes bring in hands to heart center. Finding that connection of palm to palm, balanced and even gesture. And maybe you play around with reaching your arms up. Totally your call. Finding space, length, exploring the shape. There's really no rush. Any little bits of movement that might feel nice to you. All right, so whenever you're ready, you can slowly come down. Know that it's totally fine if your object fell off of your head. That can happen. It's totally fine. Just coming back through the center, and we make our way to the other side. No rush. Bending the knee, turning the hip out, planting your heel on the leg of the chair. Pressing your other foot down, lift your chest. All right, when you're ready, finding your object, placing it on your head, and just kind of checking in. There's got to be some kind of stability going on here to keep the object on top. And then there's got to be some kind of ease, like a gently holding of your object resting on your head. Palms can come together, or maybe your arms stretch up. Settle into your breath. Continue to press your grounded foot down into the earth. Breathing in. Breathing out. Gently make your way out of the shape. Remove your prop and bring your legs back through the center. You might walk your feet out a little bit wider and do a little bit of a windshield wiper with your knees. I think that feels really good. Kind of finding that opposite action of the hip internal rotation. as the knee drops down. Okay, let's gently come back through the center. Plant your feet down on the earth or prop that you have under them. Let's just fold forward. It's okay if your feet are about hip width distance or wider. You can slowly fold. Just dropping in, kind of like a child's pose, returning inward. Head is heavy. Breath is deep. Feel free to release and reach towards the ground if you've got space here, or staying propped up. We'll be here for about a minute. Just kind of slowing down the breath. Noticing what's arising for you, what's right here in this moment. Any thoughts, sounds, sensations. Meeting the moment with awareness. You might return to that vritti breath. Inhale and exhale for the equal amount of counts with the same pause in between. You can stay here for longer or start to make your way into a resting place, a place where you can be for the next minute or so, allowing your practice to settle, your body to rest. Feel free to close your eyes. It might feel nice to rest your hands across your chest, hands on opposite shoulders, kind of letting your arms rest. The weight of the hands and shoulders, hands and arms, letting your shoulders soften down a bit more. Take rest in our final shape of practice, Shavasana. The next few breaths, slowly start to move your body any way it wants to. Only in an upright shape, sitting up tall. Maybe the hands join in front of the heart. Anjali Mudra, gesture of balance and connection. It's closing with a steady breath in and a full breath out. Thank you for sharing in this practice of balance, and I'll see you next time.